And I always say, like, why wouldn't you want to be able to lift your own shit?
Yeah.
Why do you want to have to rely on somebody to help you? Stop being like a damsel in distress type. Be strong, empower yourself, and lift some weights. Lift more than 5 pounds. And there's a report that just came out recently that showed like people in their 80s actually are doing better than people in their 60s and 70s when they start lifting. I have clients that age.
Next season, guys, we're doing 80-20 in our bikinis. This is going to be a very different type of podcast. Hey, Barstool Sports, give me a call. Welcome to another episode of 80-20. My name's Georgia Sinclair, and this is
Shanina Yco.
And today we're joined by a very dear friend of mine who also happens to be my fitness coach. She's a fitness legend. She founded YCO Active, and she also created Best Butt Ever for Equinox. It's Natalie Yco.
Hello.
Welcome to 80-20.
Thank you for having me, and congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
To beauties, like doing this is really cool. I love your platform and what you're doing, and thank you for having me on.
Of course.
Thank you for joining us. Now, you and I go back a very long way.
Very long time.
We do. I met you, I think, right when I first moved to America, so about 10 years ago.
Was it 10?
It was
not longer than that?
I think it was about 10.
She's like, it's longer.
Yeah.
Well, you know when you came here. So.
It probably
I know when you got here.
It probably feels a lot longer than that because I feel like a lot of stuff's happened since then. But I think it was about 10 years. And I think I knew about 2 people in LA when I moved. And I thought, you know what would be good for me to meet people? I'm going to join Equinox. Joined Equinox. And then I was just like going through all the classes and I saw Best Butt Ever. I was like, I want to have the best butt ever. And it actually took me a while to get into that class because that class on a Monday night was so fucking slammed every week.
It'd be like 60 people in sardines, like a sardine can.
Literally like a sardine can.
Just squashed in there.
Wow. And I remember going in there with, I think I would come with a girlfriend maybe, and she was just like, oh man, like you just wait for this class. Like it is so hard. She like will kick your ass. And you did. Like you just did not hold out on anyone. We all could barely walk out of there at the other side of it.
Like 3 or 4 days you'd be sore for about 3 or 4 days.
Exactly. Like this class. So you created Best Butt Ever for Equinox. Mm-hmm. And we just kept in touch ever since then.
Yeah.
And I recently started training with you again, which I'm so happy about because whenever I train with you, I end up with the best body ever.
Oh, thank you.
And I really love your approach to fitness. You're a big expander for me because you're 55.
Yeah.
If you're watching the video version of this, just take a look at this fine specimen of a woman. I mean, you're in the best shape ever. So whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do it.
Okay, I appreciate that.
So I want to talk a little bit about your journey and how you started out and what got you interested in fitness in the first place.
Well, I grew up with asthma. I had it really bad, and I have older brothers, but they're all way older than me. So it's just me and my mom. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I felt like I was wanted to be athletic and I wanted to be part of a team sport. But whenever I tried to go out for any sports back then, it was scary because I would have asthma attacks and I hated to run. You know, all that stuff that had to do with endurance was really challenging for me. And every time I went out and they'd be like, okay, we're going to do some liners or something like that, you know, suicide runs, I would basically start and then run out. You know, so I never had anybody to mentor me. I never had anybody to say, hey, Natalie, why don't you just try? But it was also me who was never bold enough, I guess, or courageous enough to go up to the coach and say, hey, you know, I have asthma, but I really want to do this. And I think if I stuck around long enough, I truly believe that, you know, somebody would have been like, oh, hey, you know, we feel like you have this ability. And so as I got older, and I was fast forward because it could be a long story, I'll tell you, and I tend to go on tangents. So
that's okay. It's a podcast. Do whatever you want.
Well, I mean, I literally just enjoyed being active, and I got voted the most active in my school when I was I think I was 13.
That's awesome.
And I was barely involved in anything. I went out for track and field, but I knew I couldn't run, so I would do the high jump, which I was okay at.
Yeah.
One track meet, they put me out on the track, and I was and they had me doing a couple of the track events. I literally had to stop because they didn't teach me how to breathe or run. And so they set me up for failure. That was embarrassing. I literally had to stop, and I was having an asthma attack that was full of dumb asses, whatever. But it was like, I'm a kid. And so I felt like that. I think that was kind of like what led me to feel a little bit afraid to go out for anything after that. And I did. But then I just would shy away quickly as soon as I realized that, I'm not going to be able to play basketball.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, maybe volleyball. But then they were like, but the conditioning, it's really important. Yeah. But I did go out for the Presidential Fitness Award, and I got that. That was so amazing because I was strong. I was strong.
Yeah.
And then when I was 19 years old, there was a couple girls I was in I knew from high school that were a couple years older than me, and they invited me to go to a Gold's Gym. And I guess they had like a free trainer session, and they invited me to come along. I literally fell in love with that. I can't even tell you the feeling I had from lifting weights. It made me just feel strong and empowered. And then a few years after that, I got into Taekwondo. And that was, I felt like a superhero. I'm trying to say it in my Australian, but I can't do it. But those two together were just an amazing combination. Thank you. And my old Larry Lamb, he's like really big in Taekwondo. He does a lot of stunts. He was like on the Ninja Turtles and all that, and Mortal Kombat. And he had a studio in Los Gatos, California. And when I was learning under him, he met with Billy Blanks, and he's all, hey, I want to put together a kickboxing program. And he asked me to partake and help him do that. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
And so I was really, I was like, well, I'll do it. I was nervous about the idea of it, but I'm like, why not? I was honored that he asked me. I had no idea how good I would be at that. I was really good at it. My first class, I was very nervous, obviously, but then we started teaching. I started teaching, and I taught at Gold's Gym as well in San Jose, and the classes were packed, and they were like, the line was out the door. And then I didn't know I'd be good at group fitness. I had no idea. Who knows? You never know what you're going to be good at unless sometimes it's just a matter of someone putting that to you, bringing that forth to you, or you just like trying something different. Because at the time I was going to school and studying sports management, which is a lot of like kinesiology and all that biochem as well. Yeah. But I ended up getting into training. So I was doing that already. But then the group fitness together and that's where my path led, just all that, and I'm really grateful that it ended up that way.
That's amazing. Wow, I didn't realize that, but it makes so much sense. Actually, this just reminded me of a story because I often hear other people, including a lot of famous people, talking about you. And I remember when I first moved to LA, I was DJing every Friday night at the Nice Guy, which is a pretty famous venue here. And this was back when it was popping, and every Friday night was mine there, and we would always have a lot of celebrities coming in and that kind of thing. And one of the regulars that came in was Mickey Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And I remember
I forgot about that.
He said to me, he's like, we were just chatting. He was a really lovely guy. And he told me, he's like, oh, you look fit. Do you go to the gym? I'm like, yeah, actually, I go to Equinox. And he's like, oh, man, I train with this trainer at Equinox. Fucking hell, like she's the hardest trainer I've ever trained with. She absolutely kicks my ass. Like I've never been so fit in my life. I was like, who is it? It's like, it's Natalie. I'm like, oh my God, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's so funny. So yeah, I remember I was, because I taught cardio kickboxing as well. And that was actually because of the kickboxing I learned from Larry Lamb because of Billy Blanks. When I moved out to LA, that was something that my first class that I taught.
That is
best
hard.
I ever did. It was hard. Trust me, it was hard. It was so much fun, But he was walking through there. I didn't train people at Equinox. I just taught group fitness.
Yes.
But he walked past, and then he approached me afterwards and said, I'm getting ready to I'm thinking I'm going to get ready to do a fight. And I was wondering if you could help me with my conditioning. So we met over at a gym in West Hollywood called Fitness Factory. I don't know. I don't think it's there anymore.
Yep.
But that's where I would meet him, and yeah, he was hilarious.
Yeah.
So we met for like maybe a few months, and then I don't know if he ever did fight though. For some reason, I don't think he did.
I mean, he told me the hardest trainer he's ever worked
Good,
with,
I love
and I
that.
feel like him. I mean, Mickey Rock. He's pretty fit.
Well, yeah, and he is. He still seems to be doing okay for his age and everything too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is important
Absolutely.
age.
How do you get the best spot ever?
Well,
Yeah.
It was like the classes are there.
Mine is not the best butt ever, but I know how to help create them. So
Yeah.
So the way I created that, what happened with that was I was teaching a class at Santa Monica, Equinox, and it was a HIIT class, and my QL is my quadratus laborum, just like something just popped, and back there, and I was like, oh, I literally was like not quite the end of the class, but was getting close to it. I couldn't even hardly stand. I don't remember how I got home. But it was so painful. It took months. And so when I went to physical therapy, and this was like before I met you. So it was probably like maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing people using the little, mini loop bands back then. But when I went to physical therapy, this woman she's like, oh, she goes, your glutes are weak, your adductors, your inner thighs are weak. And I think she said something about my core. I don't know if she's talking about obliques, but I was like, oh, wow, I do squats and lunges. I do all this stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm, functionality and all that wasn't really something that people were talking about back then that I can recall, but maybe they were. I just don't remember hearing a lot about it. But so she had me using these bands, and next thing I know, I noticed that it was lifting my butt. And I was like, I'm going to buy a bunch of these bands on Amazon and then take them with me to the gym. And I created this whole class, and the next thing I know, it just blew up. And I had other trainers and instructors coming in there trying to bite my stuff. And I'm like, so then I told on them. And then next thing I know, Equinox was like, well, we're doing another signature class. We want to do one on the butt. Would you be willing to do that? And I'm like, okay, well, I haven't done anything with it. Why not?
Yeah.
So then I didn't name it Best Butt Ever. I thought that was corny. Oh, that was just so effing corny.
Yeah.
But I understand why. And it did, marketing.
It worked.
Marketing
Best Butt Ever.
gets the attention.
Ever.
Yeah.
So basically you have the bands. The bands you can't teach that class without the bands. If somebody teaches that class without the bands, they don't need to teach that class.
Yeah.
Because so it's the activation. It actually it's changed a lot since you first took it.
Okay.
So you had the bands. And then I used to use gliders and all that stuff.
Yes.
I got that
I
from
had the
Pilates.
gliders. Yep.
And then we do strength. But the way I have it now is it's band work to activate, strength, band work, strength, band work, strength.
Wow.
So it just kind of like, it's a fun class. The music is always hip hop. And the women are always like done. The men that come too, they're always done. By the time it's, your butt is all nice and tight and it's like filled with like,
You can.
Yeah.
it's like.
And you're like two little stick figures
you wanna
walking
take,
out.
so girls would right after they're like taking pictures in the mirror because it's all nice and plump.
Yeah.
I wish it would stay that
gosh.
way.
I know. You have to continuously work on it though, right? It's not just like
Yeah,
it stays there.
Continuously work on it.
It's
Well, for
consistent.
myself, when that class is like just great little extra from me. But when I train myself, I'm lifting really heavy, heavy, and low reps because now at my age, that's how important it is to. That's the only way for me to maintain muscle. And if I want to try and stay as fit as long as I can, the muscle is so important.
Yeah, I want to talk about that because as I'm getting older, everything I'm reading, everything I'm noticing with my own body, I used to probably do sort of lighter weights, like a lot of skinny girls, because I thought, oh no, I should do Pilates and stuff because I don't want to get bulky. I
Right.
want to stay lean.
Yeah.
Now I'm learning that in order for me to feel my best, look my best, it's the total opposite of that. I need to put on as much muscle as possible.
Yep.
And I'm noticing as I'm getting older, it's harder to maintain that muscle. But I look at you and I'm like, hello, like there, it's possible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
so tell us how important it is to maintain muscle, how to do it, and how to keep it, especially as you get older.
Okay. Well, so basically, I think around the age of 30, it can even start earlier than that, but around that age, we start losing muscle, percent, like it just continuously. So if you're not lifting weights, then that's going to all atrophy. If you're not eating enough, if you're not lifting heavy enough, or doing some type of like, physical, like resistance training, then you do start losing more muscle, which can lead as we get older to sarcopenia. And sarcopenia is age-related muscle loss. And that can lead to all kinds of things, not just like, breaking bones and osteoporosis, but it can lead to other things like you have a higher risk of dementia, and who wants that? You know? And nobody. And so it's really, really important, especially now. And as we get to be like premenopause, I think like as women start to get older and into their 30s, they definitely should start lifting more, heavier, heavy to whatever is to you, right?
Yes.
But as we get to closer to like menopause age, it needs to be more power based. So more like a 6 to 8, six rep range, around there. I'm not always at the 6 rep range, but I'll go 2 weeks really hard and I do a week off. So there's this woman named Dr. Stacy Sims. She's a scientist and she's been studying, she's an athlete as well. And she's been studying women's hormones and women's health around fitness or athletes for so long. And so I really have to say that I attribute what she's taught to where I'm at now because of her.
Wow.
Awesome.
Because of the fact that I was kind of like, I was lifting heavy, but not to where I'm at now. And when I was younger, I was strong. But now, like, I've been able to regain the strength that I had lost. And my body's not what it was before, but I'm not unhappy with it either.
You look amazing.
Oh, thank you. And so it's hard to keep muscle on, especially when you've been at it for so long. Someone who just starts, who hasn't been training, it's really easy for them to pack on muscle. It's
So it's going to be easy for me.
It's going to be real easy.
Yeah.
I was like thinking about you. It's going to be
just
so
music
easy.
to my ears.
So easy.
I'm
but
so
someone who's been
excited.
seasoned like myself, who's been at it since I was 19, I have to really push it.
Test
and
your-
really hard. Yeah.
Because your body is like smart in the sense of like, this is the norm. It's not going to kind of like that to shock your body and give it new
Yes,
exercises to
right.
like see the change. Is that true?
Yeah, it is true because your body will adapt, and the reason for the heavy lifting is because women are more like we're made for endurance. So you want to do something opposite of that, right? And in order to tap into muscle protein synthesis, which is going to help us with the muscle gain, we have to like just really like just go intense. And so like when I'm doing like say squats, for example, I'm not just gonna rep out like 25 reps or 20 reps or 15 reps. I'm looking at like 5 to 8, for example, 5 to 10. And I actually am so excited that I'm lifting what I used to lift when I was younger.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was kind of afraid to do that because for a while there, people were saying, oh, as you get older, you got to be really careful.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Why not?
And there's a report that just came out recently that showed like people in their 80s actually are doing better than people in their 60s and 70s
I've seen
when they
this.
start lifting. I have clients that age. And,
Wow.
and like they're doing like push-ups to shoulder taps this morning. Like he did 10 of them with no problem. His wife, who's like, she just turned 80. I mean, the things that they can
Wow.
do. And I'm thinking about people in my classes who are like a
I
quarter of
can't
their
do
age and
it.
can't even do that.
That is so cool
Yeah.
to hear that you've got a couple in their 80s that come in and do that type of training.
Well, I go next door. They live really, like literally next door.
That's
So like, I'm
awesome.
like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
But they're loving it, and it's longevity because
Yep.
you want to be able to like walk. You want to be able to go upstairs. You want to be able to sit down and stand up easily. My mom is 98 now, and I actually
Wow.
just posted a reel of the two of us side by side. And I'm showing myself doing like say shoulder press, and I'm showing her at the Whole Foods grabbing like something off the shelf, and
Yeah.
I'm showing myself doing the deadlift, and then I show her like picking a little box of butter I threw on the ground for her to pick up. Mom, pick that up. And then I'm doing like step ups and showing her walking up the stairs, that type of thing. What we do now is going to set us up for later. And
Yeah.
and I don't want to be one of those people that, if we're lucky and fortunate enough to be able to live a nice, healthy life,
Yeah.
to be able to be independent and not have to rely on somebody for, I mean, my mom is 98,
Yeah.
and the fact that she has caregivers, but she's by herself a lot of times.
Yeah.
And she's able to manage,
So what you're saying is crucial for everyone to work out and gain muscle to create longevity in their life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I not taking anything away from, cardio is super important. So important for heart health, but it shouldn't be like a means to losing weight. If you want to like have a leaner body, don't think, oh, I'm going to get big and bulky. Like I know a lot of women, like a friend of mine, Ashley Borden, she's like a trainer too. She's tiny and ripped.
Yeah.
And she lives heavy, and she's never been bulky ever.
Yeah.
And so, but she also has a Pilates background. So it's like, there's some women that have the body type that will be big, and there's some women that are doing it on purpose. They want to look big.
Yeah.
But then there's those that you're not going to get bulky unless you are like training like a power lifter. So you have to eat a lot of food.
It's a ton of calories to get,
a lot
to get
you know?
that bulk.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I lift heavy and I eat a good amount of food, but I'm not eating at the level that I would have to in order to put on that muscle. But then it's also harder for women unless you take an exogenous hormone, unless you take, like steroids or something like that. It would be really difficult to look that way. So what it will do is it'll speed up your metabolism.
Yep.
So by just us sitting here, we're going to burn more calories than someone who just does cardio.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Considerably more. I know when I'm lifting consistently, I eat anything.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you just ate. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but
it's true. I
no,
said a
but
chicken
you know what I
club
mean?
sandwich and fries.
Look at you both. It's just like, and I know you stay active, and but it's just, Pilates is excellent. It's a great method. It's a great modality. And
Yeah.
I think that it should be combined with strength training.
Yeah.
So you have your Pilates days, and I have some clients that do Pilates, and then you have your days that you're focusing on resistance training with heavy weight.
Yeah.
Because that's going to help build the muscle that we need for later on.
What do you think's the ideal split between, for somebody who loves weightlifting and Pilates, what's kind of the ideal split, and how much rest should we have?
I think like a 2 or 3 of lifting and 2 days a week of Pilates would be a great split.
That's what Shanina wants to do. There you go.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Perfect.
I
Yeah.
steered away my whole life pretty much
From
weights.
Well, it's understandable because
Yeah.
of what you do. You probably feel like you're afraid that it's going to make it harder for you to
I had like a fear of weight training because I was just like, I'm gonna bulk up.
Yep.
I have great muscle. That's the thing. Like for me, my powerhouse is my legs. Like easy. I can do
Yes.
like very little. I'm like easy peasy. But I steered away from weight training because, and there's like probably some trauma to it. It's like, if I bulk up, I'm not going to fit in the clothes, or I'm not going to be booked to fix my job completely. And like prior to this, we were talking about like, I wouldn't book jobs because I was like fat. But so it's like the idea of bulking up was fat to me. So I would
Yep.
just like cut it out.
I feel like we
Right.
should give some context there, though. Like, this is when you were very young in Paris, and they pulled out the measuring tape, and you as a stick was considered too big to walk on the runway, which is insane.
asinine to me.
Yeah, I was going back to our conversation and giving context. When I was younger, went to a modeling agency overseas. I was 16, walked in there, I was 16, and I was told I was too big. And then went to the gym 4 days, and I just lost so much weight. Didn't do any weight training because my idea is like just thin,
Right,
thin.
right.
Don't show anything.
Run it off, yeah.
Run it off, and that was it. And I became so thin, and probably like created somewhat of a eating disorder
Yeah.
in those 3 months, and my menstrual cycle stopped and wasn't healthy. I love my food too. So when I left Singapore, I was
Right.
like, I'm going back to my eating. I have great metabolism. I'm very grateful and very lucky because genetics, like I can eat what I want and I can burn it quite easily. And I'm a foodie. So, but then going back into the modeling world, it's our job in some way was back then, not so much now, which is great, like fit sample size. And sample size is like 0 to 2.
Right.
Teeny.
Obviously in Europe, it's so small.
Oh my God.
Smaller than that. Like,
Smaller than that?
like you have to be a 0.
-2.
Wow. Minus 2.
Minus. Yeah. So being such a young age, and I was like, how do I get rid of my hips? Because that was a factor where I was not getting jobs, where I was told I was fat in my hips. And so I'm like, how do I, like, I was literally Googling, how do you work off hips?
Oh my God.
It's crazy, right?
How do
And I was like,
how do you work off bone?
and then I'm like realizing this is my bone. Well, what am I going to do
Right,
with it? And as
exactly.
obviously as you age, you become into a woman, like I'm learning like to really appreciate these are childbearing hips.
Right.
Like, this is important, showing body. But I was just too afraid to do the weight training, just to bulk up and how I looked, because when I was modeling, I was like considered bigger.
That just makes it's mind blowing.
It's mind blowing.
I walked into
She's tiny.
I walked into a casting. I remember this. I walked into a casting. They're like, "Oh my God, the voluptuous one is here."
Voluptuous.
I was like, everyone was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "So I'm being rewarded." But like
Wow.
my mind and my
Voluptuous.
voluptuous one.
Absolutely not.
Voluptuous one.
Voluptuous.
And there's nothing wrong with being voluptuous. It's a
No.
body. It's
Right,
sexy.
right,
It's
right. What is
amazing.
sexy?
What's your
Yeah.
hip measurement now? Like probably like 35 inches? Like
No,
nothing.
it's not. I have like a 37, 38 hip.
So do I.
And like,
that's exactly what mine is.
yeah.
I don't even know what mine is actually, but
Yeah.
voluptuous. Then I'm like, because I was saying earlier, I'm like, if they were considering you like, I'm like, I would be like considered like a extra large or something like
Yeah.
that.
We're
It's
all
just
plus
like,
size models
Yeah,
in
exactly,
comparison
exactly.
to
Yeah.
Paris
Oh
back
my
in
God.
the
not
early
even.
2000s.
But yeah, I had such a fear of like getting into the gym and lifting weights. But as it progressed, now like even with Pilates, like I lift heavier in Pilates. Not so much like I do
Pilates
like
is hard. Yeah.
5 pounds.
Yeah.
Like that's where I hit. But I'm like this year, and I've been talking about it this whole season. I'm like, I'm doing weight training.
Yes, you are.
I want to
Good
see
job.
the
Good.
muscle. I want to see the
Yeah.
tone. I want to see
Yeah.
the strength and taking care of a baby. My little effects, because I even got like so many issues with my body and like how I hold him and all that. The strength, it's really important. He's a big boy. He's 98th percentile.
Oh my God.
He is a big boy.
Well, you're gonna have muscle imbalances too if you're always holding him on the same
I see it.
side, or do you?
Yes, and so I've been to the chiropractor and I've been to the doc. Yep, I've got one side that leans more to the right. So I've been told by my doctor, if I don't figure that out, get the strength and take care of it and
Swap
go to the
arms.
chiropractor. No, what it would do,
Balance you out.
it would hold more weight on one side and cause and I'm gonna have issues with walking later on as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
You don't want that.
it would cause really bad problems like longevity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Time to
I'm
lift those
really
weights.
proud of you for making that decision.
Yes.
And weightlifting does not, like I said, and a lot of actresses that I've trained. I mean, I don't ever talk about like the list of people I've worked with, but
But it's
that's
everyone.
the same exact
It's a
thing.
good
Yeah.
VIP
Yeah.
client
It's
list.
always like, oh, I'm afraid to get too bulky. I'm like, bitch, I just want to say like, that's not gonna happen, but
No.
okay. But I have to like respect what they want, and it's really really frustrating because unless like there's one actress in particular, she had really nice legs just naturally, and so I understand she was like afraid that they were gonna get bigger. But we worked moderate weight with that, and her upper body was like, okay, it's not gonna do anything, but now it's like everybody I work with, it's never a concern. It's never like an issue. They push it. I did have someone recently who is a lot shorter, and she had to get ready for something, so she absolutely could not lift heavy, and she's already kind of like naturally muscular. So I understood that. So I do pay attention, and I know everybody's different. But for the most part, that's just not the case.
Yeah.
And I work really hard and I push really heavy. And a lot of it is because of my age and because I've been at it for so long that it's not gonna just come like that.
Yeah.
But I push really hard. I lift a lot, and it's still. I don't think I look like a man. I don't think. You know what I
Not
mean?
at all.
So I'm just saying, like, I don't see that happening unless, like I said, unless a woman is taking steroids, or if she's like, training to be a power lifter, which a lot of times they do that too.
Yeah.
So, that's just, you're still going to look like a woman, but a strong woman, I always say, like, why wouldn't you want to be able to lift your own shit? Why do you want to have to rely on somebody to help you? Stop being like a damsel in distress type. Be strong, empower yourself, and lift some weights. Lift more than 5 pounds. Like when women are in my classes and they're like, how much should I lift? I don't know what you can lift, but I'm gonna tell you, try to grab, like 15, 20 pounds at least, because we're in a classroom setting. So it's not like what I would want them to lift, but I mean, for like a hip thrust or for a squat or a deadlift, like do a little bit more than what you think you can do, because you never realize like when they're doing hip thrust, I'm like, oh, you guys, like I'm 50-some years old. I'm 55 and I did this much weight. And you guys are doing like what? 40 pounds, 20 pounds, 15 pounds. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
So I'll
You can
like
do better. Come on.
I'll put another
Yeah.
dumbbell on someone, and then like, I'm like, that feels good. And I'm like, yeah, actually it does. It feels like
Yeah.
you're doing something.
I heard a few people say like, "Oh, she looks so muscular. She looks like a man," and I think that's sometimes.
To you?
Well, just or not even to me, but just about other
women
as well.
yeah.
Okay, I'm like
they say they don't want to look like a man.
And I'm hearing it.
I don't want to look like
I
a
don't
man.
want.
Sorry.
They'll say a woman's body type. Like I understand women that like specifically. There's like what's the word I'm thinking of? There's the I can't think of the word right now. That's part of menopause, post-menopause.
You're fine.
There's some women that just want to look like that. You know, the bodybuilders. They want to be big. They want to have the biggest legs, the biggest arms.
Yeah.
But
they're eating chicken every 2 hours, aren't they?
They're eating a lot of food and they lift a lot, and that's their
Yeah.
life, you know. And I respect that. I wish that they would all tell the truth about whether or not they're taking stuff. Who cares? If you take steroids, I don't care.
Yeah.
Who cares?
But
Be honest about it. For the people
Yeah.
that are on social media, be honest about it. I think it's like messed up when you have people who are like doing that and they look a certain way.
Yeah.
And then the people that are following them, it's understandable to get inspired, but like don't think that you're gonna look like that by doing what they're doing.
No.
They're taking something. That's how they got that way.
Yeah.
So you can work really hard, and if you've never worked out before, yes, you'll get results for sure.
Yeah.
But don't think that you're gonna look like that person, because you're not, unless you take a drug.
And everybody's body is different.
Yeah.
How many times have I like put myself down and I was like, and like look at other models that I've worked with, and like my background is Victoria's Secret and just gorgeous, stunning women in their bodies, and I'm like, okay, I would work out like crazy just to be like, to get that waist, to get that hip thing, and then I'm like, come to a realization one time when I was like my 20s, I was like, that's because that's the genetic makeup. That's their body, and that's how it works. And maybe like when they do Pilates, it works different for their tone and all that. And I just accepted. I was like, my body is this, and it's gonna look this way when I do this, and I need to be happy with how I'm shaped, and this is how it is. It's like we really put ourselves in like a really bad vicious cycle.
We do.
Trying to think, if I do that, I'm gonna look exactly like that. Every part of your body, from your breasts, your butt, your shape, it's not gonna be the same as anybody else. Like
Exactly.
no matter what
Like
you
a
do,
fingerprint. It's
But you
yours.
can-
unless you go to plastic surgery. But even then, still, you know, your placement of your ribs are going to be different to that woman. It's just it's genetic. You're not going to. You have to be happy and pleased and excited and just accepting of what you're working on. Correct? And like, isn't it? It's about feeling good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It is, and I think that's a very healthy outlook, and I love that. And I wish more women. I think more women are starting to get that way.
Yeah.
I just wish that there were fewer women that feel the need to change things like they're doing now. I hope we get past that. And I'm not taking away from anybody who feels the need to do something because it'll make them feel better.
Of course,
but to do it for for certain types of attention.
Yeah.
I'm like, do it for yourself because it'll make you feel good, not because you feel like you're gonna get something special from that.
Yeah.
Because if someone doesn't love you because of who you are, and they just married you because of your butt, I mean, that's like
Probably the wrong guy.
you know,
or girl. Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah.
but absolutely, it's like, you never know what your body can look like with lifting weights. You never know. You're sculpting it,
Yeah.
so you never know what it's going to look like after you get started and your body starts changing.
Well, the quick fixes now, I feel like, are BBLs.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
It's just, like,
God.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm
so
like,
many BBLs. I
Get in
don't
the
know what's
gym.
real or not.
I know
anymore.
you can't tell. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
No.
I know, because sometimes we're done really well, and you're like, damn. But it's just like,
Yeah.
and I see some women in the gym sometimes like, whoa, that's like the most perfect butt.
Yeah.
It's the ones that are a little bit out of control that I'm like, why was that necessary? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just like, and I don't know if that's coming from themselves feeling the need, or if it's because society and having a certain type of man give you the attention. I'm like, that's a part I don't like.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, just empower yourself and just think about like just being strong and feeling good. I love feeling strong. I love being strong.
Oh, it's the
I'm
best
excited to get
feeling.
strong with you as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
I'm not a weight training guy.
It's like
good.
it's really, really like it's a really good feeling.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, there will be some aches and pains that come along with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Although I will say that I didn't have any issues until I got into I would say 50 is when it hit.
Wow.
That's when I was closer to menopause. But in my 40s, and when there's people younger than me that were like, oh, my neck or my knees. I'm like, the heck? I'm like, what's all these knee problems and neck problems? And now I'm like, oh, my neck.
Yeah.
So that's why mobility,
Yeah.
Pilates is good. Mobility training and all that stuff is really important. So self-care is so important. That's why another thing that Stacey Sims was saying, Dr. Stacey Sims, like 2 weeks hard and then a week of like kind of deloading.
Yeah.
So that you're not like constantly, like, you don't want to always be hitting it like that intense every single time, because you're not giving your body time to recover and heal, and which is super important as well in the whole process.
Yeah.
And then eating, like how much protein you're eating a day.
Yeah,
Like, and I
that's
know there's
big.
a lot of women that do not eat enough protein. That's so important.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, and myself, my clients and myself, an easy way that I've learned personally is to think about what your goal weight is. I weigh 145 pounds, so I eat at least 145 grams of protein a day. And that can be challenging sometimes. And I think especially for people who are vegan, if you do that, you have to find a way to supplement it. Or you got it, because vegans a lot of times, and don't get mad at me. Because I know there's a lot of vegans will be like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, just, you know, I know people personally that don't know how to combine foods or eat the right foods, so they're not getting enough. That's my concern.
Yeah.
I have nothing against vegan at all, whatever, at all. And I love vegetables. I eat a lot of vegetables, so eating a lot of vegetables and fruits, whole grains, and what other kind of protein you want to get. You just need to get enough of it, because that's going to help with the recovery. That's super important for women around our age too. Now, my age, sorry.
No, that's all right.
So for women that are premenopausal, you want to aim for about 30 grams post-workout within 30 to 45 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's going to help you to get into that whole muscle protein synthesis and all that stuff. It's going to help you to build the muscle, recover. For women around my age that are postmenopausal, 40 grams of protein, 30 to 45 minutes. So we can't go running errands and just hanging out and lottie-dotting.
Yeah.
You know, the guys could do whatever they want. But for us, we need to eat that. Yeah, I know. They have like a lot of like, I mean, they have their issues, but not, I feel like we have a lot more. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we do. I'm sorry.
I feel like we, yeah, a lot more, right?
Well, there's just a lot more to take into consideration. And I want to talk a lot about hormones with you, because it's something I'm really invested in right now. I recently went off birth control probably 6 months ago. And so I've just got my menstrual cycle back maybe like 4 months ago. So I'm learning all about the difference between men's bodies and women's bodies in relation to training, you know, and fasting if you're into it, and deloading and that kind of thing. Like, it's so different. There's only very specific times in the month where you can do certain things. For example, you shouldn't lift heavy right before the week before your period, because that's your luteal stage. Yeah. So that's a really good week to deload. And I'm sure you know a lot more about it than me. So
no, not a lot more, but yeah, I mean, that you're exactly right. So there's a time when you definitely, like when you're about to start your period, that you for sure, exactly, it's good, a great time to deload.
Yeah.
And well, I don't have a period anymore, so it's just like, you know, like, why am I embarrassed to say that? I don't have a period anymore.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just overall, because I have a higher risk of just like overtraining. I have to make sure that I just personally like listen to my body. Yeah. But like I'll go 2 weeks heavy and then like a week off, and then give my body time to heal. But you were mentioning fasting.
Yes. So fasting, I know you're not a fan of fasting. I am a fan of fasting, but it needs to be done. I used to just do it any old time. Like, I used to think, okay, cool, I'll intermittent fast every single day. You know, I won't do breakfast. I'll eat within an 8-hour window. Right. You end up feeling like shit. Well, yeah. And that's because women are not designed to do that. No. Men can do that. Right. But women cannot do that.
Right. And then men probably have to be careful too, because even with them, like if you're gonna work out on an empty stomach, depending upon what they're gonna do, even then they should probably be careful. Right. But for women,
why do you not like fasting?
Why I don't like it is because it affects our hormones in a bad way. So and I'm just gonna say it layman's terms, because you know I'm not a doctor. I don't have all those all that lingo. But if we are in menopause, like around menopause, or just women, period, you know, dealing with your period, whatever. When you work out, there's stress. When you don't eat, there's stress. So if you don't eat and then you're working out together, that's stress on top stress. So there's cortisol, and then you're going to end up holding on to belly fat. Yeah. You know, you'll create belly fat. Versus like fasting is not bad if it's used for the right reasons. But if you're an athlete or any woman that works out is athletic, so if you're going to work out and you're going to fast, that's not necessary. If you cannot work out for whatever reason, fasting is fine from what I understand. But if you exercise, then fasting is not a good idea. So don't go and say, okay, I'm gonna just not eat and I'll just do intermittent fasting and I'm not gonna exercise. No, because they found that you get greater results from exercise, specifically strength training, than you would from intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
So why do it? You know, I know how I feel. I did it for about a year, and it just, I got to a point where it messed me up.
Yeah.
And and I had to stop that. And I don't do well with, you know, my brain function is horrible.
Yeah.
I was noticing fat in areas that I didn't notice before.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
So I had to stop that real quickly. And it's just, you know, hormonally, like I said, it's just your estrogen, all your hormones that we need are just decrease.
Yeah.
And then cortisol goes up, and then that wreaks havoc on our bodies and everything else. And
your body is smart, because I remember hearing this. It's like, if you don't eat, your body holds the fat. And it's
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
what's the, you
Well,
know,
for a period, it does.
Yeah.
And then you go into deep ketosis and it's not holding your fat anymore.
well, so for women who feel like, oh, I gotta lose weight, and if you do this long term where you eat very low calories and then you work out like you're just like burning both ends.
That's
You know what I
bad.
mean? Yeah, that's really, really bad for your body.
Yeah.
And then also you don't want to work out on an empty stomach, like I was saying.
Right.
So besides intermittent fasting, it's really important to eat, to be fed before you train, especially women. So like from what I learned, eating like what I do is like about 15 to 20 grams of protein and about 30 grams of carbs before your workout, like 30 minutes before.
So I'm a naughty girl. I can admit this on the couch.
Yep.
I don't like breakfast, even since I was young. I can't. It's like forcing myself.
I know a lot of people like that.
Yeah, like I would have to have a matcha, a coffee, or like a smoothie. But that's about it. Like not even a smoothie. Like I can't, like it's like forcing myself. Like, and so what I do about my workouts, I love to start my day with a workout and to go into Pilates. So I will go in just with like coffee and water and work out.
It's the worst.
Yeah. And then I'll have like, not long after, I'll like have a lunch. Like I'm pretty good with like my food intake, or, you know, what I love to eat is like salads or vegetables and a protein or whatever it is. But then at night, like I love pasta. I'm like, I like my pasta. I'll eat, but I have like salads and pastas and all just proteins and vegetables.
That's fine.
That's
That's good.
But mornings, I don't know. Do I have to? So
Yes.
I have to eat breakfast.
Suck it up,
Yes,
princess.
yes. And it's not like you have to have a big breakfast. It could be something small.
Like a banana.
A banana.
A
with
banana.
A banana.
A banana.
A banana
Yeah.
with some Vegemite. No, it's kidding. A banana. I don't even know what that is. A banana with like say I don't know peanut butter or almond butter or something like
Yes,
that.
I have that.
You know what I mean?
You have to add the fat because you have to put clothes on your carbs. Aggie said that.
Yeah.
for
I
you.
tell you why, because otherwise the banana will give you a massive glucose spike.
Oh, I see.
Because it's sugar.
I need to go on my son's diet. Like he's like with oats, he has banana and like probiotic yogurt, and I'm just gonna
I mean
the good
even if it's
fats.
just like you could do a bar that has like 15 or 20 grams of protein in it, and you want a little bit of carb because that'll help sustain energy, because having like doing a strength workout without energy is really hard to do, and it really can mess you up. So it's really important, and it doesn't have to be a meal. You know, especially if you get up, like there's people like, I get up at 4 a.m, I don't have time to eat. Yeah, you can like easily just like have like, you know, maybe a yogurt and throw some protein powder in there and some berries or something. Just eat some of that. Or like I'll do like an apple. I do a protein shake with like about 15 to 20 grams, I said, with my hemp milk. And then I'll have like an apple, and I have usually sometimes some berries in there. By the time I finish like my warm up, like I'll just do like a little mobility, or you know, or if you're going to the gym, by the time you get there, it'll be fine. You know.
I think the idea of breakfast for most is like, I have to have a meal, because I'm like, I love my breakfast burritos too, but like doing that before a workout, I was like, I'll throw up.
Yeah, no, that's a lot.
it's
Yeah,
not too much.
because you definitely have to have something that's going to digest quicker. So, yeah, there's a lot of like a piece of fruit with, you know, the like some almond butter or something like that, you know, will give you a little energy to sustain it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
yeah.
gonna start eating breakfast.
There you go.
Or
Yeah.
you could just say a little snack before.
A little snack. Okay. Yeah.
A pre-workout snack.
That makes me feel
Yeah.
better.
It's just a pre-workout snack.
Don't
Yes.
even call
Yeah.
it breakfast. Trick your brain.
Yeah, or even if you had a slice of like, there's this bread that I love called Simple Needs,
Okay.
and they're, oh my god, it's just because I have to eat gluten free. Not that I do like.
I
There's
have
times I don't.
Ezekiel
but-
bread.
Oh, Ezekiel's bread's good.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love this one though, the Simple Needs, because it's like the ingredients are just like there's so few in there.
Yeah.
And it's so clean, and so I could, if you have like a slice of that with, your like peanut butter on top, or maybe like-
Avocado.
yeah, exactly. And well, the peanut butter for some protein, and then maybe throw some raspberries on top or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm noting this down because I'm going into strength training. I need to get in
You
there.
do.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it really helps with putting on muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a huge problem with seeing muscle. And I think that's my problem. I'm like, I wish I knew what I know now back then.
Yeah, but we all learn that.
Yeah.
And it's okay. You're gonna start now. You're a baby still. I mean, you're a grown ass woman, but you're
Yes.
still very young. And it's like, you're starting now is it's never too late. You're fine. I mean, you're healthy. You're doing the Pilates, so you have a good base already.
Yes.
So when you start the strength training, you're gonna see a difference pretty quickly, for
Ooh.
sure. Yeah.
Next season, I'll show you guys
Yeah.
my abs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now
hell
I'm
yeah.
excited to see Shanina's transformation from stunning to stunning. It's going to be
Yeah, I know
a real
exactly.
showstopper.
Right?
You're like, oh, get her off.
And let's get the abs by eating healthy, eating
Yeah.
healthy and,
Yeah.
and getting enough protein and eating, not eating. And then, not doing it by just doing a bunch of cardio, not eating. Cause like, that's not real abs. That's like, that's like lack
And eating the
of-
right foods. So it's
Yeah,
not
the
like
right
going
foods.
to like McDonald's and like I'm eating
Right.
the
Yeah.
protein that that piece of meat in the middle of the bun
Yeah.
is
Right,
my
exactly.
protein. It's
Exactly.
the right food.
Right.
How do you
Yes.
cook your food? Like, is it like coconut oils and
Yeah, olive oil. I use olive oil. I used to use coconut oil. I use olive oil. I make a lot of my vegetables are typically cabbage. Like I do a steamed cabbage where I saute the onions and garlic, and like I usually oftentimes use avocado oil, and then I'll throw in the cabbage and the carrots and let that simmer, and I'll add a little bit of balsamic vinegar after. It's so good. And then I
So you eat vinegar, no seed oils?
No, I'm not doing seed oils. I'm not sure.
Good.
And I've been hearing some things because there's some debate. So I don't know how true it really is about how bad they are.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
some
they're
debate.
bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. So there's
Yeah.
debate. So there's some debate on some end, but I have to look into that more. But
Yeah.
no seed oils.
Yeah,
But
good.
but I actually I love bok choy now.
I love bok choy.
And my mom used to feed it to me because she grew up in Asia, and she used to feed me bok choy, and I didn't like it, but I love it now. So
Yeah,
bok
yummy.
choy and broccolini.
Crusted butter.
Oh yeah. But I
Yeah.
have to do, unfortunately, because I'm a little dairy intolerant.
Ah.
It's not like I never do butter.
Yeah.
I will do butter, but I do a lot of like Mykonos. Is that how you say it? Yeah. so
Mykonos, I think.
Mykonos. I don't know how to say it. I just say
It's the-
Mykonos because
Yeah,
It's
Mykonos,
because
yeah.
it's the Greeks.
Yeah, exactly.
They know
the
the
healthiest
good
vegan.
fats. Yeah.
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 So I do that
It's
exactly.
like
That's
coconut
why.
oil based, right?
I think so.
Yeah, if you're vegan, that line and the name is debatable, but let's go with Mykonos Mykonos. It's one of them.
Yeah, it's one of those too.
Yeah, it's
I buy
like
that brand
the
too.
ingredients are very, very clean.
Right, so that's why I go that route.
Yeah.
And then I do Violife cheese
Yeah.
because I love cheese. I used to eat a lot of cheese when I was a kid. A lot of
one
like
loves
big
cheese.
blocks of cheese.
I would inhale cheese.
She
my
was
God.
swimming cheese.
I
Yeah.
love me too. I love cheese.
Yeah, rub it all
love
over my body.
Love
Yeah.
it. Right? Me
Yeah.
too. Give me a tub of melted cheese any
I'm not
day.
that
Yeah.
obsessed with cheese, but I like it.
Yeah,
I do love
that's just
cheese.
weird to me.
I
Get
love
obsessed
it.
with cheese.
But I would eat goat cheese because from what I understand, it's supposed to be easier to digest. But even then, I've been kind of like having to be careful, and that's some gut issues I'm dealing with right now, which is getting better. But
I'm a big
yeah, I just
candidate for goat too. I feed my child on goat's milk formula.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's good, right?
Yeah.
yeah, he likes it.
He's
Or he doesn't know any
he's
better.
98th percentile. He's doing good.
He's doing
fine.
real good.
Yeah.
I need that. Wow, he's gonna be a big boy.
I don't think he can
And
tell
he's
the
precious.
difference. He's just
My
like, feed
God.
me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I do Violife for those. I do black rice. I do brown rice. I do grass-fed beef. I do organic chicken. I eat a lot of, I do fish, sardines.
I love
a lot of eggs. I love
sardines.
Yeah,
sardines.
yum.
A sardine would be good in the morning, to be honest with you. If you have like a slice of toast,
Yes.
and then put like the
Sardines and
on top.
avocado.
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go.
Perfect.
There you go. That's
There's
all
your
you need to do.
Doing
snack.
it.
There you go. That's how we
Doing
found
it.
it. Yay!
We found it.
Yay.
We found her
People like
pre-workout
sardines,
snack.
like, "Ugh," and I'm like, I love sardines.
they're
Good for
great.
you. They're so good for you.
Yeah, that good skin. That's probably
Yeah.
why you have amazing skin, because you're having the
Aw.
sardines.
Thanks to
Yeah.
the makeup lady this morning.
Yeah,
No, it's all
I know.
you.
It's
No,
all
I
you.
do have
Genetics.
melasma, which I can't stand it. It started in my 40s, so I remember like one little dot was here. I'm like, what is that? And it just got bigger and bigger. And
Wow.
I had been on the pill for a very long time, then I got off of it, and I think that being on the pill for so long, I think is what did it.
The hormone changes.
from-
and
yeah.
Do you feel so much better off birth control?
Yeah, I
Yes,
think so.
same.
I got off of it in my 30s.
Yeah.
And I just was going to this woman I was getting like facials every week. And she goes, Natalie, you don't have to keep coming. On my skin, everybody's like, oh, your skin, your skin. I sent her like 30 people.
Yeah.
She goes, you don't have to keep coming all the time. I'm like, but I want to. So I went to her like twice a month. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, that part sucks.
yeah, your skin definitely changes.
It
like,
does, yeah.
over time. The age spots too. We don't know we have it.
Yeah.
It was very conflicting, and I'm like, oh, she's like, yeah, as you age, you're gonna see from like when you went in the sun, they're gonna get bigger and bigger, and we just don't know. I'm like, great,
I know.
Yeah. They're really hard to get rid of too.
very hard. You can't.
Yeah.
You really.
You really can't. I
Can't
mean,
get
I've
rid of
had
it,
mine
yeah.
lasered off more times than I can count, and they just, one
come
day out in
back.
the sun and just
Right.
right back
Well,
again.
you both do whatever you're doing, keep it up because
Thank you.
I'm strength training. No,
I'm
But-
just
I know.
following what you do. So basically, except for the fasting, I want to circle back to that for a
Yeah,
second,
yeah,
just
yeah.
to clarify
Yeah.
here, because fasting, if not done correctly,
Right.
can be bloody dangerous.
Right.
And everything you just said is, I believe, is true. By the way.
Okay.
So I just wanted to sort of loop back and say I fast in a very specific way. If
Right.
I'm doing any kind of training, there's no fasting around it.
Okay, good.
Like I do eat before I train.
Okay, good.
I
like me.
fast. I fast according to my cycle.
Okay.
There's only a few days a month where it's safe to actually fast. And if I'm doing like a 15-hour fast or something, I will make sure I train inside that window with food either side.
Good. Good.
So, just wanted to put that out there because everything that Natalie said is very important.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's I appreciate the fact that you are paying attention to that. And
Yeah.
that, I think that most women just don't know how to do it properly, and it would be said not to do it at all.
Yes.
But I feel like you're doing it responsibly.
Yeah.
So you're fasting responsibly. So I think that I'm not going to take that away from you if it's working now. And then you just pay attention to your body and listen to it and see if you've noticed any changes later on as you get older.
Well, the reason I started doing it is because I have gut issues.
Okay.
And I was
Oh, got
reading
it.
a lot of
Okay.
books on gut resets.
Yeah.
So I will sort of do it like this. I'll plan my workout. If I'm going to do, say, a 48-hour reset for my gut, I won't train on those days. I
Okay.
will have minimal activity, and I might train, for the 5 days up to it.
Yeah.
And it will be right after my period that I do it, because that's the safe time to do it hormonally. And I will drink electrolytes the whole time, and I will
good.
not push my body.
Oh, good.
I take
Okay.
it very, very
Okay.
easy.
Okay.
And I find that for me has really helped with my gut issues. Like I won't have any gut pain or anything after that if I do that, whenever I sort of feel like I need it, which is every month or two.
You don't have SIBO or anything like that, right?
I don't have SIBO, but I do have a pretty significant imbalance, and I've got a family history of it.
Oh, okay. I see.
I'm
Okay.
fructose intolerant. Like I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I find that the fasting does help with that, but if you're going to get into fasting, make sure you do your
Yes. Maybe you should
do your research.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Don't just jump into it and do
really-
it for the wrong reasons, because you're doing it for a reason that's help medically more so. Like,
yeah. I mean, you do lose a little bit of weight, but like
people can be like, oh, then I'm gonna definitely do
no,
it.
but you know what loses weight even more? Lifting weights.
Well, and then the
Yeah.
thing too is that people
Yeah.
don't understand that oftentimes when women are trying to lose weight, they do it wrong, and then they lose muscle, and
Yes.
that's gonna lower
Yeah.
your metabolism,
Yeah.
and then your body's like, wait, hold up, something's wrong here, so let me slow you way down, and then
what it
so
does.
your metabolism slows
Yeah.
down, you'll start your muscle your body will start eating away at your muscle,
Yeah.
catabolic, and then hormones get affected, and that's like just a recipe for disaster.
That's what really worries me about Ozempic, because everyone who's taking Ozempic, and look, there are some people out there who need it. Like if they're morbidly obese,
Yeah.
and really having trouble losing weight, I mean, that drug can save their lives.
Right.
So, I do believe there's a place in the world for it. It's currently the number one most sold out drug in the world. And I'm sorry, I do not believe that every one of those people is morbidly obese. So I
Right.
think it's unfortunately being pretty heavily abused right now.
It's being abused.
Yeah. But
I'm sure you probably both
biggest-
know a lot of women that don't need
Yeah,
to
we
be
do,
on it. They're-
including people that are close to us.
Yeah,
But
it's very close to us.
But the thing that worries me the most, and I spoke to the person who is closest to me that's on it about this, is that person and many others are experiencing muscle wastage, which is so dangerous.
because they're not eating enough.
Yeah, but I think a side effect of the drug is that you actually experience muscle wastage.
Oh,
And I just think because it's this whole Ozempic fad
Yeah.
is so new, I mean, surely we're going to see all these health complications as a
Yeah.
result of it, right? Like,
And also at a fast pace to lose weight.
it's a really fast pace. So that's another thing too. And a lot of times if they're not lifting weights, because I know someone who's doing it too, and she was like, finally, she's like, oh, I just realized, and she's not one of my clients, but she's like, I need to start lifting weights.
Yes.
Because look at now, I'm like, she's like loose. She's getting loose. And
Yes.
luckily she's still young, but she's in her 20s, but
What?
she was heavy. Yeah.
Okay.
So she started doing it and she's losing weight, but she was working out and then she stopped for a little bit. And then she realized, I'm noticing that things are starting to look saggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem. It is really at that rapid pace. Yeah.
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 For someone who's, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just
Go ahead.
to wind that up. For someone who is morbidly obese or heavy and wants an alternative to Ozempic, what would you suggest? Let's just say they're not fit at all. They don't go to the gym. Where would you start?
I'd probably just have them start with like adding in some healthy foods. You don't have to let's not just go cold turkey and just say, okay, stop eating whatever you're eating now, and start adding in some healthy options.
Yep.
And then working with them to start okay, I actually like this and I'm starting to feel better. And then maybe they'll start excluding, taking away some of the unhealthy foods, the unhealthy options. Maybe eating less McDonald's or less, processed foods, but by integrating more whole foods.
Yeah.
And then just having them start moving, doing anything that they enjoy, even as simple as walking. Walking is so healthy for you.
Yeah.
So, introducing something like that rather than just going full out okay, you can't eat that anymore. You can't have that now. And then now you have to go to the gym 2 hours every day. Who's going to want to think that that's what their life has to be? A lot of people, it's going to be too much.
And
So
I know some people that take Ozempic because they're unable to go to the gym because of some
can't-
functions or discs
right.
or
That I
whatever it is.
understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's they want to be able to lose weight, but they can't really work out. And unable to even get on their back or just
to me,
walk,
that's
the
a
function, they
good
can't do it.
candidate for that.
Okay.
Because if you feel and I know some people I've talked to, someone said that someone suggested to them and they're afraid to go that route. Don't go that route, but just start moving first. And I know it's not easy for everybody to just mentally, but also physically, it's not easy for everybody to be able to do that. But finding something that they enjoy, even just walking.
Walking, yeah.
Walk, start getting your steps in. But if you're going to be on Ozempic, I think you really need to lift weights.
Yeah.
Any type of weight loss, anything. Any type of weight loss regimen that you get involved in.
Yeah.
In order to prevent muscle wasting, I think it's really important that you're combining enough protein in your diet and lifting weights.
So
Yeah.
maybe those people, because I know you lose your hunger hormone, I think, on Ozempic. So maybe those people need to force a protein shake in, either side of their workout or whatever, and just try to get the.
I think it's hard though because from what I've heard from the experience of others, forcing, it's it's a chemical that's telling them not to eat, and they can't. And I've heard from a few people are vomiting.
Oh
Oh
gosh.
my God.
This
does not sound fun.
It's very intense, and people are vomiting. So it's when you're nauseous and vomiting, and your body's you're not eating, we're not going, and you're shrinking your stomach day by day,
Yep.
you can't force it because
No, you
it's like you
can't.
physically cannot do it.
You cannot eat.
You cannot eat
can't.
because your body was like, well, I'm gonna do the job that you're putting into my body by
Right.
saying I'm not gonna eat. So
So it's absolutely going to
It's-
eat your
it's-
away at your
yeah.
muscle. It's absolutely going to eat
the
eat away at
choice
your
that
muscle.
they make to
Yeah.
take it. So
Yeah,
Really sounds like it should be a last resort, I think.
I think
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's gonna create organ failure over time, from what I've
Right.
heard from one of my doctors, and eventually you can't take Ozempic for the rest of your life. So,
But then doesn't that mean you're going to put the weight back on, or at least you're likely to?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so, because I know a woman who was heavier, stunning, and she got on it, and I think she said she's never gonna get off of it. And then another woman who was on it and then got off of it, and then started to get weight back, and then still got back on it again. I think the idea is like the problem is like if you're on something like that, and it's a quicker fix. It's like that pill that we were all talking about wanting, right? So it's going to give you that quick fix. But then what happens when you know, a lot of people tend to not do what they need to do afterwards. So if they don't have the right physician to help them along the way,
Yeah.
to guide them, then they're going to be set up for failure once they get off of it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay, you're going to get on this to help you to get to this point, but you need to make sure that you're eating enough protein. We got to figure out how to get that in. We have to make sure that you're lifting weights, you know, because then they're going to have some issues most definitely after they get off of it, because they're likely not, if they weren't working out before and this is what helped them get to that point where they were hoping to be,
Yeah.
why would they start working out after? You know what I mean? So it's something that they should do in conjunction with that.
Yeah.
So that could be create like a good habit and create a new routine for them.
Yeah.
So that they can be sustain that body as much as they can afterwards.
Yeah.
And then they'll be healthy, you know?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think people think about the long term. They want the quick fix, but they don't sort of think, they just sort of think, oh, that's fine. Yeah, I'll stay on it for the rest of my life. But what if it significantly shortens your life?
Right.
And it
that's a
sounds
good
like it
point.
can.
And I honestly didn't know some things that you mentioned about it myself. I didn't look into it enough. But,
Yeah.
I think it's the idea of being concerned with image, because being thin is not considerably healthy, right?
Right.
They're like, well, I'm really thin, I'm able to do all these things. It's like the image of it, if you feel like you look great, that's okay, that's
Yeah.
great. But inside, like what's happening and what are you doing to your body? Is that actually healthy and going to make you feel good?
Right.
So
And
that's
then
the question.
You can always tell someone too when they're really thin and they just don't look healthy. You can tell the
Yeah.
difference between that and like you two.
Yeah.
You know, because I know you both eat well. You both are active.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a difference between someone who's thin who takes care of themselves versus the one who's, and you can always tell too, because mentally they're just not there. You know, they have no brain function. They just don't look. They look gaunt. I have had them in my classes before where they're, you know, I've had some anorexic students and they never wanted to stop.
Yeah.
They never wanted to stop. It was like a hit class. And I'm like, okay, just recover now. And then they just wanted to keep moving, like they're afraid to stop.
Yeah.
And it's really sad.
And recovery is just as important, if not more important, than the actual training.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really important.
Well, I know who I want to look like. You. So I'm so
Thank
excited
you.
to be training with you again. Sounds like you got a new client sitting right next to me as well.
We're going to have to come back and look at her abs in a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. The perfect before and the
Just going to
perfect
wear
after.
crop tops on the pod.
Yeah, we'll be sitting here. Next season, guys, we're doing 80-20 in our bikinis. This is going to be a very different type of podcast. Hey, Barstool Sports, give me a call.
Well, that's why I'm 56 almost, and like
Check it out.
I wear my crop top, and I don't have like, you know, like burn, but you know. It's,
Oh, yes, you do.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
not
you
bad.
do.
I mean, I have never had children. I have dogs, but
Yeah.
But you know, still, regardless whether you have kids or not, I see women who have kids and they still look amazing. You know, it's just
Absolutely,
it's just how
yeah.
you take care of yourself and genetic too. But you know, I'm like, I'm gonna wear a crop top as long as I can. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'll do it at 90, but I'm gonna wear one as long as I can.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Why not?
I wouldn't count you out of that either. I've just got this image in my head of you just walking along with your perfect butt and your perfect
with my little
abs, with your
walker.
little Zimmer frame in your crop top.
My tricked out walker.
yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm very excited to be training with you again. If people want to train with you, find you on social media, go to a class, where do they go?
So if you want to find me on Instagram, because everything's there, go to Natalie Yco. It's NATALIEYCO. And yeah, if you just hit me up, you can send me an email. It's there on Instagram. You can send me a DM if you want to. And then my classes I'm only training at Studio City and Encino locations right now.
Awesome.
And then I do virtual. So I do virtual training. I create programming.
Yep,
and
that's what I
have
do,
people
by
that
the way. I
come
do
to me.
coaching, which is a great option for people who either don't live near you.
Yes,
Or
or they
people who
travel.
perhaps like don't have the budget for a personal trainer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a little more affordable, and yet you still get your expertise,
Exactly.
and guidance. And
Yep. And then the virtual is less expensive than the in person. And then I have a gym at home, so people I just have people that come to me, and then I have everything you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then ECO Active, I have an activewear brand that I've had for a while now. That's like really challenging to say the
Yeah.
least, but it's also on my page, so you'll see like
We got some goodies, so thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, you're
Yes,
welcome.
I should wear
you.
that for
There
the
you
next
go,
season.
there you go.
Yeah, now it makes sense. Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, again, thank you so much, ladies. It was fun, and I was really nervous to be on here, and because I'm a little shy, but I appreciate you asking me on. Thank you.
Well, you killed it, and
course.
we love you.
I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.